And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken. www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Go to the website, get the app, and they will deliver right to your front door, pretty much anywhere inside the 275 loop, or head down to Dayton, Kentucky. Tell them to pump it up, save yourself 15% off of the Galactic goodness. Get yourself some chicken tendies, some fries, some fried chicken, coleslaw, fried pickles, all the good stuff, and some of that outstanding Galactic sauce. It is out of this world. All right, what's up, Aaron? How are we tonight?
Doing all right. Just getting ready for my show with George here in a couple minutes.
Yep. Let's get you to that. The little one's excited.
Apparently.
Yeah, Tiger's excited. Everybody's fired up right now about your show with George. George in the jungle and the animals are restless.
It is one of our favorite days of the week, though. It was talking about Talkin. And you want to start with basketball first or with football first?
Basketball was just Wes, so if you want to do basketball, we can knock out basketball.
Let's do that then. Wes,
okay.
He was very both sides of the coin in regards to this interview. There were positives to the offense, like sharing the ball, but they need to improve, and other things like transition and rebounds, consistency. It felt like anytime he gave a positive, he would follow it up with a negative. Same with, he was pleased to get 3 wins, but this team still has a long way to go. He's not at all satisfied. I think
which is where it should be after 3 games with a relatively new team. Like if you would ask me my thoughts on like where we're at after 3 games, it would be, about as expected. Nothing.
If a coach 3 games in thinks that everything is clicking on full cylinder, then
you've probably got a really veteran team that you didn't have to do a lot of teaching of your system, of your principles, of, the whole 9 yards, and not a team that's replacing 4 of its top 5 scorers. So
sure.
I would say right now, Aaron, like, I don't have anything that's really like blown me away. Like, probably the most pleasantly surprised with the point guards.
Yeah.
That we haven't seen a lot of inconsistency yet. I'm sure we will, but we haven't yet. And I don't think there's anything that's been surprising defensively. We knew rim protection was going to be a problem. If we know it's going to be a problem, you can't all of a sudden be surprised that rim protection is a problem. We talked about it all off season.
You went out and got rim protectors who can't play. So yeah,
right.
I get it. He also mentioned that the perimeter defense has been leaving the rotational defense coming up slow on those rotations. While we have noticed, and we've talked about how good the perimeter defense has been, it's obviously creating other problems because they're not getting back to those rotations quickly enough.
Essentially, the help side isn't where it needs to be yet. And again, that's new team, learning system,
communication.
And yeah, like it's the stuff that, again, much like the offense, there are things that you expect are gonna take some time. Overall, I think it hasn't been deficient. I just think it hasn't been as good as it will be as this thing progresses.
And this is why you play some of these types of games with this type of team. He said he is not concerned with how many missed layups they had, but they were definitely going to be getting after finishing drills today in practice. Of course, his presser was before practice, so
they did some finishing drills today. Yes,
important. Also, I think I just wanted to make sure, I guess, that people were understanding his. It's not a backhanded compliment exactly, but it's kind of a backhanded compliment on Jizzle. Just that he is not impressed yet with what Jizzle has shown on the court because he sees him in practice every day. So that it's like
he's played how he has expected him to play. I don't think it's a backhanded compliment. It's like, no, I'm not blown away by anything. Maybe like fans are because nobody's seen him yet. Wes sees him every day. So I think that's what he's saying is, no, this is
waiting to see what he's seen in practice translate to the court, maybe more.
fully. Like, I don't know. I think he was saying, like, this is who he's been. Like, this is what we've seen. So I'm not surprised or impressed. This is what I've expected him to do because this is what he's shown me he's capable of doing, was the message I got from it. Now, of course, there's more. Like, yeah, he's a freshman that's played 3 games.
He's
There's
not
a
nowhere
world
near
of
his ceiling
good
yet.
still coming. But I think the way that Keegan asked the question, because, again, like I said, most everyone is looking at him and going, damn, like, we thought there was even more learning curve maybe that he needed. And Wes is saying, no, this is what we like. He has shown us this is what he can be. So yeah, I expected of him, kind of.
Vic shooting threes has changed the offense. Also, Newman has been taking steps as an offensive player. So those things have certainly changed the look of the offense, and even as returning players.
Yeah, that's been absolutely necessary. That again, you haven't had Steamos really click yet. You had a game where CJ Frederick was not like a non-factor, at least in terms of like getting him shot attempts, because they were doing everything they could to take him away. We talked the first 2 games, Vic wasn't great, and then the third game he was. John Newman's been steady. So yeah, that you need that. 4 of 5 returning scorers are gone. Something's got to give, and I think for John, the message is kind of what we've talked about, is that he's starting to look like the guy they expected to have at the beginning of last year. And if they do have that guy, through the season, playing like he is right now, it's a team that takes a bump up, because we didn't know what we were going to get from John Newman. Didn't know if they were going to get anything from John Newman. And now he's looking like a legit starter, lockdown defender, and a guy that's going to be a plus on offense. Not a plus, not a leading scorer type guy, but if he's always at 8 to 12 points in that range, you take that every night from John Newman.
Agreed. And then the last 5 minutes was pretty much just discussion on Jamil and Aziz. No updates as far as anything going on there. But one of the things that he mentioned was, I think it was Keegan who asked him about how this was affecting them maybe on the court. And he said that coaches can only control what they can control on the court. Every day, though, it's become a distraction for the team, not just for the players, but also the other players, for the coaches. And that's simply what it is. It's not an excuse, but it is a distraction.
Yeah, which, of course,
you'd expect it to be, right? They're not just sitting back and just letting the NCAA.
They're not soulless zombies either. Like they've all become friends. Like that's
right.
They're close. Like these guys like each other.
They've talked about, all the team has talked about at length when asked that how close knit this team is. So yeah, I'd expect them to be standing arm in arm with their brothers at this point. So yeah, but that's pretty much what I got in regards to Wes. Moving on to Satterfield. Obviously, you get your first win. He was happy with all 3 aspects, offense, defense, and special teams. Said that turnover margin was the biggest key. Quarterback play was efficient, and this team is starting to play as one. It was the first time that any of us have really gotten to see that. And you're also getting to see complementary football, disciplined football, just things that we've all been waiting to see from this team.
Yeah, winning helps. And when you win a game like that, where they were clean, they didn't make penalties, they didn't make many errors, like they did what they needed to do, kind of workmanlike, which is what this team has been missing. There's been too much top of the mountain, bottom of the mountain. Like, yeah, you want to see your team a little bit more. And like, of course, there's going to be some of this, but you'd like it to just be a little bit up and a little bit down, not boom, zero, boom, which is what we've seen this year.
Not like all of our stocks that got involved with the GameStop stuff. He also mentioned Emery, Corey Kiner, Luke Condra, and Tinsley, all by name, as just guys that stood out in this win. You do have Senior Day coming up against West Virginia. Corleone.
West Virginia's Senior Day.
Correct.
Yeah.
Corleone against Frazier being a matchup to watch there, as his center play has been fantastic. And then I thought it was interesting that Jordan Young was mentioned as somebody who a message was sent to and received for being undisciplined off the field. And we saw it translate into a guy who also was talked about, I believe, by Dante as a guy who didn't whine, didn't complain, didn't moan, just went in there, took care of things. And again, clearly the message was sent and received. But
yeah, that's why we saw Raekwon Atkins start, and kudos to Jordan Young for getting on track. This is the guy that we thought, when he transferred in from Florida, that we were getting a Power 5 level starting corner. And he didn't show that, through most of the first half. And to see it kind of pop up was good.
Agreed.
It gives you a little bit more. He's going to be here for a couple more years. So it gives you a little bit more like belief and development in what's happening for him.
Well, I should hope that you'd see after playing this much time this year, I would hope that you would see a jump in that development by next season. But Satterfield also said that he mentioned at the end, as he was asked about the waivers and that process with Jamil and Aziz, he said he tries not to recruit second-time transfers kind of for this reason. He honestly would prefer either have waivers or don't have waivers, make it black and white, don't have any of this in-between bullshit. But bullshit being my words, not coach's words. But just kind of that's
I think we all prefer it to be that way.
Sure. I mean, it would make everything a little bit more clear. Right now, I feel like it's muddy water. That's all I got really on Satterfield, though. Moving on to Dante. Coleraine continues to have a big effect on this team, as you saw just all over the field, guys from Coleraine. It's been year after year after year.
Corleone, Pace, Phillips, Willis. Yeah.
Yep.
It's not good that Coleraine stinks.
It's not
right now
at all. No.
Need Coleraine to be Coleraine, because that's, if you look at one spot in the city that has been the home of the Bearcats, it has been the Coleraine Cardinals.
Right.
And them not being good is damaging to the brand. A lot of wins for Coleraine Cardinals in red and black.
Plenty. State championships.
No, I mean as Bearcats. A lot of Bearcat wins from guys that went to Coleraine High School.
He said he's excited for his next matchup. He is looking to stack days and games, and playing with the lead does open the playbook more for the defense. They're able to do some things that they haven't really been able to do more or less the entire season. And then
I was glad I got a chance to ask that of him and Sat today, because I don't think people have enough of a grasp on just how much difference it makes when every snap you take, almost the opponent has the lead. Like, you just can't do what you want to do.
Very different. And then he wanted to make sure that he gave Kalen Carroll and Raekwon Atkins their flowers. He said that they've been good, not great yet, but he was very pleased. Said it was the best overall game for corners last week, as we've talked about at length at this point. But did say that they need to, as a team, continue to challenge one another as leaders, especially.
Yep. It's Dante. He's going to always say the right thing. Always.
He's come quite a long way since
he's comfortable up there now.
Yeah. It's good to see his maturation there at the mic. Gavin, he said that it was mentioned, I think this was the first game that we saw Trevor Radosevic kicked out to tight end
no. So essentially what they will do so that you don't have to declare and so that you can move it, like do some things, is you put an offensive lineman in a tight end jersey. They did this last year with Mount Glenn. You put an offensive lineman in a tight end jersey, and then he can act as a tight end. So if you want to motion him from one side to the other, and you don't have to declare him, you don't have to kind of tip your hand. It just makes it a little easier offensively. But we were I was joking, like if Gavin turned an ankle, they were not getting that jersey off of Trevor Radosevich.
You'd have to cut it.
Oh, absolutely. The scissors would have to come out. That thing was hanging on for dear life. It was stretched out like this. Like it was so noticeable when you saw that number walk by the screen that like the numbers were hanging on for dear life. It was so funny to me.
Gavin also talked about how Coach Cardwell leans on him, and like when he comes off the field, and how much Coach Cardwell has helped in his development. Said that this team has a ton of pride, especially the line has a ton of pride in the running numbers and how much success they've had in the run game, as it still is, I believe, at number 5. And
it moved up. It was number 6 last week.
Number 6 moved up to 5. Okay. And then he's very happy with Luke Condra and the PFF accolades that he's getting. Number 1 guard, right guard, I believe.
Number 1 right guard in the Power 5.
So you love seeing that.
We talked about Tinsley a little bit. It's a great story. Like to see him go from Kentucky Christian or whatever it was.
Right.
Another one of those guys that when he transferred in, fans are like, who's that? The guy from Kentucky Christian? What are we doing? Sometimes the coaches are actually good at their job and they can watch tape and identify and say, that's a guy that we think translates. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But D'Artagnan Tinsley is obviously translated.
It's a crazy concept.
Very good.
Then Brady Lichtenberg spoke with Keegan, looked like after practice, said he's gaining more confidence week to week. The way that they've done things with two drives and bouncing guys in and out, he's been able to bounce ideas between those drives with Emory. So they've been taking advantage of it. Just talking about what they see and what have you. He's obviously spent a lot of time around Emory in the quarterback's room, but also has spent a lot of time, even mentioned going all the way back to Camp Higher Ground, and how much time he's spent with Emory talking and learning from him and his journey to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Said that the running game has been a tremendous help to the offense, especially to the quarterbacks, as it makes their job a little bit easier as you're stacking the box and not necessarily coming after the quarterback. And then getting to lead this team next year would be everything. I'd be shocked if he had said anything other than that.
Right. Yep. So there you go. TBT on a Tuesday night. Catch George in the Jungle. If not live, make sure you're catching the replay, the podcast. You know the drill. All right, that's going to wrap it up. We'll see you tomorrow night. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!